Feeling stressed, stuck, or like life's just too chaotic? What if you could flip the script and turn every challenge into a chance to grow stronger? Imagine mastering your emotions, staying calm no matter what life throws at you. Stick around and I'll show you 6 powerful Stoic habits that can change your everyday routine. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on more ways to live with purpose and peace. Let's dive in and unlock 6 powerful habits that will make you smarter and more resilient in life. Point 1. One of the most important aspects of Stoicism is the ability to practice mindfulness and self-awareness. In the fast-paced world we live in, it's easy to get lost in the chaos of daily life and lose sight of our inner thoughts and emotions. However, a Stoic mindset encourages us to pause, reflect, and gain control over our inner state before reacting to the external world around us. The key is understanding what's happening inside our minds and taking ownership of our responses, rather than letting them be dictated by external events. The practice of mindfulness begins with intentional self-awareness. This doesn't require a lengthy meditation session or complex rituals. It simply means taking a moment to check in with yourself. How do you feel right now? What emotions are you carrying with you from earlier in the day? Are you feeling frustrated, anxious, or overwhelmed? By asking yourself these simple questions, you start to build an awareness of your internal landscape. Instead of blindly reacting to what's happening around you, you can begin to separate your emotions from the external circumstances, recognizing that your emotions are not the result of others' actions, but rather your interpretation of those actions. Self-awareness helps you understand that emotions are not inherently good or bad. They are just signals pointing to something within. For instance, feeling frustrated might be a sign that you're trying to control something beyond your ability, or that your expectations aren't aligning with reality. By practicing mindfulness, you can take a step back, acknowledge that frustration, and ask yourself, is this feeling useful right now? More often than not, you'll realize that your emotional reactions are just temporary responses that don't need to define how you handle the situation. This awareness leads to better decision-making because you're no longer driven by reactive impulses. When you're mindful, you can choose how to respond, rather than being swept away by your first emotional reaction. Take a moment to breathe deeply, assess the situation, and then decide what your next move should be. This is where Stoicism teaches us to focus on the things we can control, our actions and responses, while accepting those things that we cannot change. You may not be able to control a stressful situation at work, but you can control how you handle it and the mindset you adopt when you're faced with it. Another powerful Stoic practice tied to mindfulness is the habit of journaling. Every day, Stoics would write down their thoughts, reflecting on their actions, emotions, and the lessons they learned. This simple exercise of writing can help you process your experiences, gain clarity, and create a record of personal growth. Journaling offers a safe space to express your feelings, reflect on your behavior, and note any areas where you could have responded differently. Over time, this practice sharpens your self-awareness and gives you a clearer perspective on your patterns, helping you make more intentional choices in the future. Mindfulness also plays a huge role in helping us stay grounded in the present moment. Often, we find ourselves lost in regret about the past or worrying about the future. Stoicism teaches us to live fully in the present, because this is where true power lies. By practicing mindfulness, We allow ourselves to fully engage with the here and now, taking in what's happening around us without distraction. This presence of mind allows us to appreciate life more deeply and respond with greater calm and clarity, rather than being clouded by fears or regrets. Incorporating mindfulness into your daily life doesn't have to be a daunting task. Start small. Each morning, take a few minutes to center yourself before you dive into the busyness of the day. As you go about your day, check in with yourself regularly. Notice how you're feeling and whether your emotions are influencing your behavior. Try to catch yourself in moments of stress or frustration and use your awareness to pause and take a breath before reacting. It's in these small moments of reflection and self-awareness that we start to cultivate a mindset of resilience, one that can navigate life's challenges with calmness and control. Ultimately, practicing mindfulness and self-awareness is about creating space between stimulus and response. It's about becoming the observer of your own life, noticing your thoughts and emotions, and then choosing how to act, rather than simply reacting out of habit. This habit, when cultivated daily, can make a profound difference in how you experience the world and how you interact with others, leading you toward a more intentional, balanced, and stoic way of living. Point 2. One of the cornerstones of Stoicism is the idea of focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you cannot. In our daily lives, it's all too easy to become consumed by things outside our influence, whether it's the opinions of others, unpredictable events, or circumstances that seem beyond our reach. The Stoics understood that to achieve peace of mind, we must train ourselves to focus our energy on the things we have direct control over, and to accept the rest with grace. At the heart of this principle is the realization that we cannot control everything in our environment. We can't control the weather, the traffic, or the actions of other people. Yet we often expend immense mental energy trying to change these things or wishing they were different. This effort is not only futile but exhausting. Stoicism teaches us that by focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, we regain power over our lives and create the space for calm and clarity. When you start practicing this mindset, you begin by recognizing the limits of your influence. Ask yourself, what's in my power right now? In a stressful situation, we often find ourselves overwhelmed because we are attempting to control every little detail or trying to force outcomes that may not be aligned with reality. For example, at work, you might feel anxious because you want everyone to approve of your ideas or because you're afraid of making a mistake. But the Stoic approach would be to shift the focus. Instead of worrying about how others will respond, you can control how you present your ideas, the effort you put in, and how you handle any mistakes along the way. This shift in focus is liberating. It reminds you that your peace of mind is not contingent on external circumstances, but on your internal state and your responses. A major source of frustration comes from trying to change things that are beyond your control. You can't control how others act or what happens in the world, but you can control how you choose to respond to them. When you fully embrace this idea, you free yourself from the emotional turmoil that arises from constantly battling things you have no power over. This principle can be applied to nearly every aspect of your life. For instance, if you find yourself in a difficult relationship, instead of focusing on trying to change the other person, you can control how you respond to them. You have the power to set boundaries, communicate clearly, or even decide whether the relationship is serving your well-being. Likewise, when faced with setbacks or failures, it's important to remember that while you can't control the outcome, you can control the effort you put in and the attitude with which you approach the challenge. Every situation becomes an opportunity to practice self-control and focus on your own actions. This practice also helps us navigate the stress and anxiety that come from anticipating outcomes we can't predict or control. It's common to stress about what might happen in the future. What if you don't get the job you want? What if something goes wrong in your personal life? Stoicism reminds us that worrying about potential outcomes is a waste of energy. Instead of dwelling on the unknown, focus on preparing yourself as best you can for whatever comes, and then accept whatever happens with grace. By doing so, you'll find yourself less anxious and more equipped to handle whatever life throws your way. Incorporating this mindset into your daily routine requires consistent practice. It starts with simple awareness. When you catch yourself worrying about something beyond your control, take a moment to pause and remind yourself that the only thing you can influence is your response. From there, refocus your energy on what you can change. Whether it's your own actions, your perspective, or your attitude, these are the areas where your power lies. As you start to embrace this approach, you'll notice how much more at peace you feel. Life will still throw challenges your way, but you will be less affected by them because you're no longer trying to control the uncontrollable. The key to mastering this habit is consistency. Every day, check in with yourself to see if you're focusing on the right things. Are you wasting energy on things outside your control, or are you channeling your efforts into what you can influence? Over time, this will become second nature, and you'll find that your inner peace grows as you stop letting external factors dictate your emotional state. By consistently focusing on what you can control, you'll discover a greater sense of empowerment and serenity. The Stoic practice of accepting what cannot be changed, while taking full responsibility for what you can, will help you navigate life's challenges with strength and calm, leading to a more fulfilling and balanced life. Point 3. Gratitude is a powerful Stoic practice that can dramatically shift the way we experience the world. In a society that often focuses on what's lacking, it's easy to become fixated on what we don't have or what we wish were different. We tend to overlook the blessings in our lives because we're too focused on the next goal or the things that aren't going the way we expected. But by incorporating gratitude into your daily routine, you can change your perspective and cultivate a sense of contentment, no matter your circumstances. Stoicism teaches that cultivating gratitude is a fundamental part of living a virtuous and fulfilled life. One of the core beliefs of Stoicism is the idea of accepting reality as it is, rather than wishing for things to be different. Gratitude allows us to embrace the present moment and acknowledge the good things in our lives, however small they may seem. It helps us shift our focus away from what we lack and reminds us of the abundance we already have, no matter the challenges we may be facing. The practice of gratitude is about more than just saying thank you. It involves genuinely recognizing and appreciating the good things, both big and small, in your life. This might mean reflecting on the simple comforts, like a warm cup of coffee in the morning, a quiet moment to yourself, or a good conversation with a friend. It's easy to overlook these moments in the rush of daily life, but when you pause and take notice, you realize how much you have to be thankful for. It's about training your mind to focus on what is good, rather than fixating on what's going wrong or what you feel is missing. The Stoic approach to gratitude also extends to the challenges we face. Stoics believed that adversity and hardship can be valuable teachers. Instead of seeing setbacks as purely negative experiences, Stoicism encourages us to view them as opportunities for growth. In this sense, gratitude isn't reserved just for the pleasant moments of life, but also for the difficulties we encounter. Every challenge is an opportunity to strengthen our resilience, learn something new, and build character. When we embrace this perspective, we begin to see even the toughest times as blessings in disguise, learning experiences that shape us into stronger, wiser individuals. Gratitude also plays a crucial role in our relationships with others. By regularly expressing appreciation for the people in our lives, we strengthen our connections and foster positive interactions. In a world where we're often quick to criticize or take people for granted, the simple act of expressing gratitude can have a profound impact. Whether it's thanking a colleague for their help, acknowledging a friend's support, or simply appreciating the love and care of family members, gratitude nurtures bonds and creates a more harmonious environment. To make gratitude a daily habit, consider incorporating it into your morning or evening routine. Start each day by taking a moment to reflect on what you're grateful for. It could be anything from a good night's sleep to a fulfilling work project, or the health of a loved one. This simple act of reflection sets a positive tone for the day and helps you approach life with a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. Alternatively, you could keep a gratitude journal where you write down a few things you're thankful for each day. Over time, this practice helps shift your focus from what's missing to what's already present, creating a deeper sense of contentment. Even on challenging days, when things seem to be falling apart, you can find something to be grateful for. Stoicism teaches us that while we can't always control what happens to us, we can always control our attitude by making the conscious decision to focus on gratitude. Even in the face of adversity, we train our minds to stay grounded and calm. This mindset shift allows us to approach problems with a sense of perspective, rather than reacting with frustration or despair. Gratitude also helps us build resilience. The more we practice being thankful, the more we develop a sense of inner peace that doesn't depend on external circumstances. When we realize that we have enough, whether it's love, health, or the simple joys of life, we become less attached to material possessions or fleeting achievements. This detachment allows us to experience life more fully, without the constant need for validation or external rewards. As you continue to cultivate gratitude in your daily life, you'll find that it becomes a powerful tool for fostering a sense of peace, contentment, and resilience. In a world that often encourages us to focus on what's lacking, gratitude reminds us of what we already have, helping us lead a more fulfilling and balanced life. It's one of the simplest yet most effective practices to integrate into your routine, and it's a cornerstone of the Stoic philosophy that can transform your perspective and your experience of the world. Point 4. One of the most transformative aspects of Stoicism is the way it encourages us to view challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. In our everyday lives, we inevitably face difficulties, whether it's a setback at work, a disagreement with a loved one, or personal failure. These experiences often evoke negative emotions like frustration, disappointment, or fear. But Stoicism teaches us to shift our mindset and embrace these challenges as valuable opportunities for self-improvement and personal development. The Stoic approach to challenges starts with the understanding that life is full of hardships and that we cannot avoid them. Instead of resisting or resenting difficulties, Stoicism encourages us to see them as an essential part of life's journey. After all, it's through facing adversity that we develop resilience, wisdom, and character. Imagine if we never faced challenges. How would we learn to be patient, to persevere, or to stay calm under pressure? Without difficulties, we wouldn't have the chance to grow into better versions of ourselves. This mindset shift can be a game changer. When you encounter a challenge, instead of viewing it as a problem or something to fear, you can ask yourself, what can I learn from this? For example, if you face a tough situation at work, rather than focusing on how unfair or frustrating it is, think about how you can use this as a lesson. Maybe it's an opportunity to practice patience, to sharpen your problem-solving skills, or to improve your communication with colleagues. Every difficulty, no matter how unpleasant, carries with it the potential for personal growth. This perspective also helps to reduce the emotional weight of challenges. When you see obstacles as opportunities, they no longer feel like insurmountable barriers. Instead, they become stepping stones that guide you towards self-improvement. This doesn't mean that you ignore the difficulty or suppress your emotions, but rather that you acknowledge the challenge with the understanding that it's something you can learn from. The Stoics believed that we should not be controlled by our emotions. Instead, we should use our emotions as signals to guide our actions, but not let them dictate our responses. By viewing challenges as opportunities, you also develop a sense of resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, and it's a skill that grows stronger with every difficult experience we face. When you face a challenge head-on, rather than avoiding or fearing it, you build your mental and emotional strength. Each time you overcome a setback, you become more confident in your ability to handle future obstacles. The more you practice this mindset, the more equipped you become to deal with whatever life throws your way. Moreover, this approach fosters a sense of control. In life, there will always be things we can't control, other people's actions, the economy, the weather, and so on. But what we can always control is how we respond to these external events. When we choose to see challenges as opportunities for growth, we take control of our responses. We stop letting external circumstances dictate our emotional state or actions. Instead, we remain grounded and calm, knowing that we have the power to navigate any situation with wisdom and strength. Another key aspect of this Stoic mindset is accepting that things may not always go as planned. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, we face failure or disappointment. The Stoics remind us that failure is not the end. It's simply a part of the process. In fact, some of the greatest achievements in history came after repeated failures. What matters most is how we respond to failure. Do we give up, or do we learn from our mistakes and try again? By embracing challenges as learning experiences, we take the pressure off ourselves to always succeed. This reduces the fear of failure and allows us to approach life with a more open, adventurous mindset. Stoicism also teaches us to detach from our attachments to outcomes. While it's natural to want things to go a certain way, Stoics remind us that our happiness should not depend on the outcome of any particular situation. If you become too attached to a specific result, you risk losing your peace of mind when things don't go as expected. Instead, focus on doing your best and accept whatever happens as part of the flow of life. This acceptance doesn't mean passivity. It simply means that you are not defined by your success or failure. You are defined by how you choose to act, regardless of the outcome. By adopting this Stoic approach to challenges, you cultivate a mindset of growth and resilience. You stop viewing difficulties as roadblocks and start seeing them as opportunities to become stronger, wiser, and more capable. Each challenge becomes an invitation to improve, to learn, and to rise above the circumstances. This way of thinking not only enhances your ability to handle adversity, but also enriches your everyday life, helping you live with greater confidence, clarity, and purpose. When you start embracing challenges as opportunities, you'll notice that you approach life with more enthusiasm and less fear. You'll be more open to taking risks, trying new things, and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. In the end, the greatest rewards often come from the challenges we face, and by adopting a Stoic perspective, you can unlock the full potential of every experience, no matter how difficult it may seem at first.
Point 5.
One of the central tenets of Stoicism is the cultivation of virtue through daily actions. For the Stoics, living a virtuous life was the ultimate goal, as they believed that virtue is the key to true happiness and fulfillment. Unlike external circumstances, which can be unpredictable and beyond our control, virtue is something that we can actively cultivate and practice every day. Whether it's showing kindness, making ethical decisions, or standing firm in difficult situations, the Stoic approach teaches us that our daily actions are a reflection of our character and provide the foundation for a life well lived. Virtue in Stoicism is often defined by 4 key qualities: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These virtues are not just abstract concepts, but practical ideals that we can apply to our everyday lives. Wisdom refers to the ability to make good decisions and navigate life's challenges with clarity and reason. Courage is the strength to face adversity and take action, even when we're afraid or uncertain. Justice is about treating others fairly and with respect, while temperance involves exercising self-control and moderation in all aspects of life. Together, these virtues form the moral compass by which Stoics guide their actions. Each day offers countless opportunities to practice these virtues, whether it's making a difficult decision at work, standing up for someone who is being treated unfairly, or resisting the temptation to indulge in something excessive. These small moments are where virtue is cultivated. Stoicism teaches us that these actions, however small, accumulate over time and shape who we become. By consistently choosing to act in accordance with virtue, we gradually build a character that is grounded in wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. For example, imagine you're in a situation where you're tempted to act impulsively, whether it's responding harshly to a criticism or succumbing to the desire for instant gratification. The Stoic practice of virtue encourages you to pause and consider your actions. Is your response rooted in wisdom? Is it just? Does it align with your values? By taking a moment to reflect, you gain the ability to choose a more virtuous path, one that contributes to your growth and helps you navigate the world with integrity. One powerful way to cultivate virtue daily is through intentional reflection. Every evening, take a few minutes to review your actions and decisions from the day. Ask yourself, did I act with wisdom today? Did I show courage when faced with a challenge? Was I just in my interactions with others? Did I practice self-control? This practice of self-reflection allows you to identify areas for improvement and reinforces the importance of living according to your values. Over time, you'll notice that you become more attuned to the moments when you have the opportunity to choose virtue, and those moments will begin to shape your behavior more naturally. Virtue also plays a significant role in our relationships with others. Stoicism teaches that we should treat others with respect, fairness, and kindness, and that our actions should contribute to the common good. Every interaction with another person, whether it's a casual conversation or a more significant relationship, is an opportunity to practice justice and compassion. For instance, if a colleague is struggling at work, instead of ignoring their difficulty, you can offer support or guidance, acting with kindness and fairness. Likewise, if you encounter someone who disagrees with you, practicing virtue means listening to them with respect and seeking understanding rather than reacting defensively. In this way, your daily actions create a positive ripple effect in the world around you, helping to build a more just and harmonious environment. Stoicism teaches that we are not defined by our external circumstances, but by the way we respond to them. This means that regardless of the challenges we face, we always have the power to choose how we act. The more we practice virtue in our daily lives, the more we align our actions with our higher ideals. This alignment not only brings us closer to becoming the best version of ourselves, but also leads to a deeper sense of fulfillment and inner peace. By focusing on virtue, we stop relying on external outcomes for our happiness, and instead find contentment in knowing that we are living in accordance with our principles. Ultimately, the practice of virtue is what allows us to navigate life with integrity, resilience, and purpose. It empowers us to make better decisions, build stronger relationships, and live a life that is aligned with our deepest values. Every day is an opportunity to strengthen our character and live a life of meaning. By making the deliberate choice to act virtuously, we cultivate a mindset that not only enhances our own lives, but also positively impacts the lives of those around us. Through these daily actions, we create a life rooted in Stoic wisdom, one where virtue is the guiding force behind everything we do. Point 6. One of the most significant practices in Stoicism is the idea of maintaining a calm and rational mindset in the face of external circumstances. Life often throws us unexpected challenges, difficult situations, or moments of stress, and our natural instinct can be to react impulsively or emotionally. However, Stoicism teaches us the importance of cultivating inner tranquility by detaching ourselves from these external events. Rather than being controlled by our immediate emotional responses, we can choose to maintain a sense of calm and clarity, which enables us to make better decisions and navigate life with greater resilience. At the core of this Stoic practice is the understanding that we cannot always control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. This insight is both empowering and liberating, as it shifts the focus away from external factors and toward our internal state. While we may not be able to change the behavior of others, the circumstances we find ourselves in, or the events unfolding around us, we always have the power to decide how we interpret and respond to these situations. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom, that true freedom lies not in controlling the world around us, but in controlling our reactions to it. One effective way to cultivate a calm and rational mindset is by practicing mindfulness. In moments of stress or frustration, the first step is to pause and take a deep breath. This moment of stillness allows us to detach from the immediate emotional reaction and take a step back. Instead of reacting impulsively, we can assess the situation from a more objective standpoint. What is happening right now? What is within my control and what is not? How can I respond in a way that aligns with my values and helps me achieve a positive outcome? By taking this pause, we avoid being swept away by our emotions and gain the clarity needed to make more thoughtful decisions. Stoicism also teaches us to view adversity with perspective. Rather than seeing difficult circumstances as purely negative experiences, we are encouraged to view them as opportunities to practice patience, self-control, and resilience. For example, if we're faced with a challenging project at work, instead of reacting with anxiety or frustration, we can see it as a chance to improve our problem-solving skills and demonstrate our ability to handle pressure. This mindset shift helps us maintain a sense of calm, even in the face of stress, because we no longer view challenges as threats, but as chances to grow and strengthen our character. Another key element in maintaining a calm and rational mindset is practicing acceptance. There will be times when things don't go as planned, when people disappoint us, or when we face setbacks. Instead of resisting or resenting these moments, Stoicism encourages us to accept them as part of life. Acceptance does not mean passivity or complacency. Rather, it means acknowledging the reality of a situation and responding in a way that is consistent with our values. By accepting what we cannot change, we free ourselves from the burden of unnecessary frustration and create space for more constructive action. The ability to maintain calm also plays a critical role in our relationships with others. When we respond to people with emotional reactions, whether anger, frustration, or impatience, we often escalate the situation, creating unnecessary conflict. However, by cultivating a calm and rational mindset, we are better able to navigate difficult conversations with empathy and understanding. Instead of reacting defensively or rashly, we can choose to respond with patience, listening, and thoughtfulness. This not only helps to resolve conflicts more effectively, but also strengthens our relationships and fosters a more peaceful environment. In addition to emotional regulation, Stoicism teaches the importance of focusing on the present moment. Too often, we become overwhelmed by worries about the future or regrets about the past. These thoughts pull us away from the present, leaving us distracted and anxious. By practicing mindfulness and staying anchored in the here and now, we can reduce unnecessary stress and improve our ability to focus on the task at hand. In moments of uncertainty or anxiety, simply reminding ourselves to focus on what is directly in front of us can bring a sense of calm and clarity. This mindset of calmness and rationality also helps us build resilience. Life is full of ups and downs, and we can't always predict what will happen next. But by maintaining our composure in the face of adversity, we strengthen our ability to bounce back from challenges. Each time we respond to a difficult situation with patience and clarity, we become more adept at handling future stressors. Over time, this builds a mental fortitude that allows us to stay grounded, even in the most turbulent of circumstances. Ultimately, maintaining a calm and rational mind, it is about taking control of our inner world, regardless of the external chaos. By practicing mindfulness, acceptance, perspective, and emotional regulation, we can create a sense of peace and clarity that allows us to navigate life with resilience and grace. This Stoic practice not only enhances our personal well-being, but also improves our interactions with others and helps us achieve a deeper sense of fulfillment. In a world that is often unpredictable and overwhelming, the ability to stay calm and rational is one of the greatest skills we can develop.